Hello, I'm Abby from Hexham TV. Who am I with?
Hi, my name's Clare Edwin and I have a jewellery making business called Lola.
How long have you had the shop for?
Almost 2 years now. I got the keys in May 24 and spent a bit of time doing the shop up because it used to be a barber's. And I opened at the end of June in 24.
Was it hard to get started and run your business at the start?
Yes. I don't have a business background. I don't even have a creative background. I actually used to be a teacher before this. And the business sort of happened by accident, really. I had no idea what I was doing, sort of made it up every day as I went along. Here we are.
Do you make all types of jewellery or do you specialise in some?
I would say I specialise. I only work with sterling silver and copper and brass, so my kind of signature, if you like, is mixed metals. I don't work with gold and I don't do sort of fancy stone settings, things like that. I leave that to sort of more the professional goldsmiths. It's sort of more everyday jewellery rather than fine jewellery that I do.
Okay. Do you get many customers?
It depends on a daily basis. If I'm perfectly honest, some days I'll get no one coming in the shop and other days I have a really busy day. It's up and down. It just depends on the weather, the time of year, various things. But I can always do with a few more.
Would you say you get most in summer?
Definitely, yeah. The lead up to Christmas is always the busiest time, understandably, with jewellery. But summertime, definitely. And I'm starting to see an increase now. We get a lot of tourist visitors to Hexham. And I think tourists are more likely to sort of wander around. And because I'm on a little back street tucked away, it's a sort of place that they like wandering. And I have a lot of tourists come in during the summer months.
How long does it take to make the jewellery you make?
It varies. I tend not to sit down and make one thing at a time. So I tend to make things in batches. So if I run out of something, I won't just make one more to fill the space on the shop. I might make a few at a time. So I've always got a few spares. Because if I was to just make one thing, there's lots of stopping and starting and different processes involved. Whereas if you're making a few at a time, it's far more efficient to do that. So, I mean, it could take me, sort of one of my pair of earrings may take the equivalent of about 20-25 minutes. But actually, there's lots of processes and stopping and starting involved in that.
Would you find that challenging to have to stop and start a lot?
I do, because I get easily distracted. So as soon as I stop doing something and I turn around and think, what's coming next? I then think, oh, what's that on the music? What's that on the radio? Or, oh, I'll just check my messages. And then there's the scrolling and all of that sort of thing. I do get easily distracted, and sometimes it takes me a while to get back to what I was doing before. Definitely.
Would you prefer making earrings or other types of jewellery?
I'm definitely an earring person, so earrings are always my favourite. The downside to earrings is they come in pairs. So it's twice as much work to make a pair of earrings as it might be to make a necklace, which is something that you don't always think about. So if I get an order for, a few pairs of earrings, for example, then there's twice as much work is involved in making a necklace, but that's fine.
Do you pre-make the things you make, or do you have batches and then put them online, or take specialist orders?
I do a bit of both. So I do have some people coming in and they want something very specific. And I don't always take commissions, so it depends if it's something that's sort of within my skill set. So I do some things that are specifically made to order, but most things that I've got on the shelves are things that they're kind of like ongoing collections, if you like. There's a few times a year I make one-off pieces and special seasonal collections, but most things I have are kind of repeated styles that I make on an ongoing basis.
How would you like to promote your business?
Oh, goodness me. I mean, that's the one thing I find the most difficult these days is I use social media, but it's how to get people to see it on social media. I send out newsletters, you know, I do various things myself, but you know, how wonderful it would be to get picked up by a magazine for a magazine article, or to get featured on TV, for example, or for a celebrity, I don't know, to start wearing some of my jewellery and then all of a sudden, you know, it goes viral or that kind of thing. Yeah, I think a lot of that, what I have at the moment is word of mouth and passing traffic. But it would be wonderful if it was a little bit easier to be seen on social media these days.
Do you think putting up posters could help that?
I mean, possibly could if I found the right places to put them. I do have flyers. I teach jewellery making workshops as well, and I do have flyers for those in a couple of places around Hexham. One of the things I always think is I should put them in more places, and somehow never quite get around to doing it. But yeah, I mean, maybe posters would be a good way of doing it.
How did you learn the skills to make jewellery?
I started off going to a night class. Well, actually before that, one of my friends asked me if I wanted to go and do a taster day at Bensham Grove in Gateshead, which is an adult ed centre, and they do lots of craft classes. And it was a taster day for silversmithing and jewellery making, and we went along and did that, and both thoroughly enjoyed it, and signed up there and then for night classes. And it was the time that I had sort of left my full-time teaching role, and I was doing a little bit of supply teaching, and I was trying to work out what I was going to do to earn some money. And over the course of about the next year or so, I started setting up a little bench in the garage and started making a few things at home, bought a few very, very basic tools. So it was a combination of night class and then YouTube videos, all sorts of stuff on the internet, just research, things like that. Now, every now and again, I go away and do a course. So I've done like a couple of residential courses where I've learned some extra skills. And a lot of the time it's just playing with things, get an idea, make it. Sometimes it goes wrong, sometimes it works. But very much kind of learning as I go along, really, a lot of it.
When do you do the workshops, and what does it involve?
The workshops I run on a weekly basis. So I have some on a Thursday evening, some on a Saturday afternoon, and they cover things like ring making, bangle making. We do a pendants and earrings workshop. I have other ones that come and go. Sometimes I might just do a couple of those workshops and move on to something else. But the ring making and the bangle making is always the most popular. And I just have up to 4 people at a time. And we sit and make jewellery together. And it's always really good fun.
Has the cost of materials affected your ability to make things, or
It's certainly affected how I plan what I'm going to make. It's been very well documented in the in the press in the last year, really. On the last 6 months even, the price of silver and gold, it's gone up massively in price. And although it's levelled out a little bit, my materials cost, my silver costs are more than double what they were sort of even going back 12, 15 months. It's been really, really hard to manage. I think one of the advantages I've got is because I don't just work with silver, and because I work with copper and brass is still far cheaper materials, I've been able to mitigate some of the price increases because it's only a small part of what I'm doing that the costs actually increase by. So I think I've managed to kind of keep my pricing affordable without going, making it out of the reach of most people.
Have you got any more affordable things than other?
Yeah, I mean, I start with very simple studs, so just little everyday stud earrings that start at £15, up to sort of handmade chunky statement chain necklaces, which might be a few £100s. But I would say the average sort of price of earrings or pendants in here is sort of in the £40 to £50 mark. So I try very, very hard when I'm designing something to think about what the cost of it would be and what the selling price of it would be first, before I get carried away in creating something that essentially wouldn't sell. So I do try and think very much about who might buy things and what they might be prepared to pay before I start making something new.